Hey everybody. Just wanted to talk about a few things for a second. Democrats. Is it possible that the Democrats aren't as delusional as we think they are? I want to wait a second to let everyone get logged on. But is it possible that the Democrats aren't as delusional as we think? I mean, and the reason I bring that up is Democrats were Trump a bust way before there was even a Bernie a bust movement. Before there was a Bernie a bust movement, Democrats were Trump or bust. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there because it's obvious. It's obvious. This was never about winning. It was never about winning with them. It was about the cost that they was willing to take to get their establishment candidate down our throats. And it shows what they believe in going forward. And it shows what we're dealing with. For example, the Democrats were down for Hillary Rodham Clinton despite her negatives. They were down for her despite the number of voters that was turned off by her. They were down for her from the beginning. So are the Democrats really that delusional? Maybe they're not so delusional as we think they are. And the reason I say they may not be as delusional as we think, and I'm not saying it definitively, and I don't mean to waffle on a particular topic, but I just want to be open minded, and I just want all of us to be open minded. Perhaps they aren't as delusional as we think, and I say that because it wasn't about winning. The polls showed that she struggled with independence. The polls showed that she struggled with millennials. The polls showed that Bernie beat Trump in every matchup poll, right? But despite all of that, they still got behind Hillary Rodham Clinton, someone who didn't win nothing but Republican states. They got behind her. So that, in my opinion, because every time that we said we were for a third party, they said, "Well, you guys are for Trump." No, we're not. We're not for Trump. But you guys were for Trump. You were for Trump. Yeah, that's right. You were willing to lose the election before you allowed Senator Bernie Sanders to have a fair shot at the nomination. And the reason of that saying, well, just perhaps, you guys thought you guys weighed your options. You say, well, Senator Bernie Sanders will fight for the people. He would expose us. He would expose all corruption. And he would put things on the table that we don't really want to talk about. If Trump wins, well, at least if Trump's win, guess what happens? If Trump wins, this is what their line of thinking could have been. If Trump wins, then maybe, you know, he'll be so bad we can use the politics of fear. And then we take over the House, we take over the Senate. We take over the House, we take over the Senate, and guess what? We keep minorities and African Americans voting for us by using the fear of Donald Trump while offering them nothing. So if you look at it that way, they wasn't so delusional. They were just willing to go Hillary or Trump, Hillary or bust, or the way they talked about us, Trump or bust. Because if you wasn't for the candidate that actually was beating Trump, and you was gonna force someone up there who didn't have a chance of winning, and in their logic that was meaning you were for Trump. And so what I'm saying is, if they were really down for defeating Trump, they wouldn't have nominated a candidate that couldn't win anything but swing. They couldn't win a swing state. They would have nominated a candidate that struggled with young people. So you were for Trump. It showed when they ignored her negatives. It showed that they were for Trump. It showed that they were willing to coddle their big money donors in order to let the man of the people represent the people. That's what it shows. So perhaps they knew what they were doing. If Bernie wins, he put issues on the table that we really don't want to talk about. He put issues on the table that make us uncomfortable. He put issues on the table that alienates our big money donors, that makes it hard for us. But if Trump wins, we have the politics of fear to use. We use the politics of fear. We use the politics of fear. We get back in power by using the politics of fear, by offering the average working people nothing. Think about it. Hey, Richard. That's what I'm saying is maybe they're not so delusional. And don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not saying that I won't vote for another Democrat again, because I'm not going to sit here and be naive to the point that because I'm pretty independent in my way of thinking. If there's someone emerges that with a real progressive agenda, like Senator Bernie Sanders, Tulsa Gilbert, who really emerges with a real progressive agenda, yeah, I'll vote for him. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I won't vote for a Democrat. I'll vote for a Republican if they have a progressive agenda. I've yet to see one. So it's just all about who's going to be down for the people, who's going to rock with the people, Who's down for us? Who's going to stand up to the big money donors? Who's going to stand up and stand for things that are unpopular? Who's going to stay true to what they really believe in? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So all these folks out here that are mad with you and I because we voted our values, I don't know what to tell them. I'm not the least bit sorry of the way we went about this thing, and I'm not the least bit sorry about the way we're going to prepare going forward. The way we're going to prepare going forward is the politics of fear is not enough. You got to show us what you got. You got to give us something to vote for, because we're never going to just give you our vote with no strings attached. With no strings attached. If you want our vote, you have to earn it. So the politics of fear and saying how the other person's bad while offering no alternatives on the table, those days are over. Those days are over, because you know what? People are awake now. And I'm not gonna be honest. Sometimes, even myself, wish I wasn't so awake. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes sometimes it's a lonely feeling. I wouldn't trade it, but sometimes it's a lonely feeling, because you caring about things that so many people don't give a damn about. When you're saying things like taxes don't fund federal spending, and people looking at you like you're crazy. When you're saying things like, oh, we're not in debt to China. Or when you're saying things like, I'm going to vote my values. I don't care what you think. I'm going to vote my values over my fears. Because if I don't stay true to who I am, then what's the point? What is the point? So we have to stay true to who we are. And staying true to who we are can cost you friends. Staying true to who you are can cause you to be mocked and laughed at. But you got to be willing to stand up to that and take that and embrace it. And embrace it because you're on the cuffs of doing something great. You're on the cuffs of standing true to who you are. You're on the cuffs to putting a dent in the whole notion of politics of fear is what sells. You are on the cuffs of a real progressive agenda. It takes time. Change takes time. Brown versus Wade was in 1954. We didn't get the Voting Rights Act until 1965. It's all about staying consistent, just being persistent, keeping your eye on that North Star. Everything you do in this world, if you stay consistent at it, it will come to pass if you stay consistent. So we're just going to stay consistent. We're going to continue to chip away. And together, we're going to make this nation a more perfect union. That's what we're going to do it together. In the face of adversity, in the face of the obstacles, in the face of those that should be on the side with us, that are brainwashed, that are stuck in the cult of personality. We're going to overcome all those obstacles because we've done it before. We got behind a candidate that had no money and was 60 points down, facing the most popular political candidate in history that everyone knew. Her name was like being on a bumper sticker. Everybody knows Hillary Clinton. Anyone who doesn't care about politics knows Hillary Clinton. They were down for Hillary Clinton. Just say the name Hillary Clinton. Boom. Hillary Clinton. He erased a deficit that was 60 points down. He didn't do that himself. You guys did that. We did that together. That's what real change looks like. That's what it looks like when we stick together. We prove that we still are people capable of doing big things. That's what we prove. And we're going to prove to the talking heads, we're going to prove to the Democrats that are still delusional, act delusional, and it's a chance that they may not be so delusional, they're just not on the side of us. That means in 2018, we have to primary every last single one of them with real progressive candidates and get behind any candidate from any party who's down for the people and who has a progressive agenda. That's what it's going to take going forward. And as much as people see us coming when we talk about economics, it's a task that we cannot stop talking about. We have to continue to talk about economics because taxes don't fund federal spending. We can't stop talking about it. The dollar is created out of thin air. It's an idea. No one has actually even seen a dollar. We're not in debt to China. Let's not be cutting people off welfare, cutting people SNAP benefits, food stamps, to balance a budget for an economy that's monetary sovereign. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense to take any money away from poor people when we're a country that is monetary sovereign. We're not in debt to anyone. As long as there's enough goods into the economy, we can print as much money as we want, and we need to be printing more money. We do not want a balanced budget amendment like the Republicans say. What we want is a balanced economy. We want a balanced economy amendment. That's what we want. We want to be able to push through the agendas we want. And these things, the first thing they're going to say is how you're going to pay for it. So we have to end the notion that America is broke, bankrupt, because we're not. You think tax dollars fund the entire federal agency? Come on, please. It doesn't. That's not how. That does not fund our government. Our government on the federal level isn't funded through taxes. It's not. Why would the federal government borrow any money from something that it issues itself? You don't borrow money from something you create. Doesn't make sense. Borrowing your own currency, as Randall Ray put it, wouldn't make sense. Because as Randall Ray states, borrowing your own currency would be like borrowing an IOU if you needed a cup of sugar. And then you suddenly realize you need another cup of sugar. And then borrowing your own currency would be the same as borrowing the same IOU back because you need another cup of sugar instead of just writing another IOU. That's not how it goes. When you're a country that's monetary sovereign, Uncle Sam can never run out of his dollars. He can never run out of dollars to pay his own bills. Now, I'm hopeful that Donald Trump is going to pass his infrastructure bill, and he's going to do it without paying for it. Yeah, we want him to deficit spend. That's what we want. Republicans generally run up the debt. They generally run up the debt, which is a good thing. They don't realize. I mean, it's a good thing that they run up the debt because debt is only numbers on a spreadsheet. But somehow, some way, the people that never worry about balance the budget, some kind of way convince Democrats that they have to balance the budget. I hadn't figured that one out yet. I haven't figured out. And anyone got an answer to that one? Somehow the way the Republicans don't worry about balancing the budget, but they some kind of way convince the Democrats. And when they're out of power, they want to do a balanced budget amendment. They want to do dumb stuff like shut down the government and sequester cuts. And the reason that we have sequester cuts and we have government shutdowns in a country that's monetary sovereign is because people don't care enough about economics. That's why we're here. So to the Democrats that were Trump a bust, you guys have shown us that you're willing to coddle the elites and you're willing to lose an election to do it. That's what you guys have shown us. So you guys may not be as delusional as we think. You may got exactly what you want. So now you can play on minorities. You can play on poor people. You can play on them, on their fears, and tell them how the other guy's bad while offering them no alternatives. But you know what? We're going to call you out on it. And we're going to keep the pressure up on it. Because if any one of you guys want any of our support, you're going to have to show us what you got. And it's got to be a real progressive agenda, and it cannot be incremental change. Because incremental change, if incremental change is what this nation was built upon, first of all, not only would I not be talking to you guys about politics, I wouldn't be allowed to vote. I wouldn't be allowed to vote. Minorities, African Americans, were the equivalent to this country to is the cows and the horses in the fields. Incremental change didn't end slavery. It didn't. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It took a lot of bold action. It took a president, Lincoln, making a bold step. And some like to make the case that Lincoln done it for political reasons. You name me one person that was freed during that time that gives a damn if he done it for political reasons. I don't care if someone wants to do the right thing and stay in office. I really don't care. You want to pass progressive policies just because you want to stay in office? Good. That's what we want. But what we don't want is people want to do right-wing policies that are going to hurt the economy just to keep their pockets padded from the big money donors just to stay in office. That's when we have a problem. I'm Kendall Sullivan with Real Progressives, and I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day, guys. Peace, and I'm out.